Hello everyone, BaBenche here. Today I am building a mini ITX form factor PC. The most important component in this build is the Deepcool CH160 case, a portable mini ITX case designed to offer high airflow and flexibility for various hardware configurations. Its mesh panels on multiple sides ensure efficient cooling, making it suitable for high-performance components. Motherboard Asus Prime H610i plus DDR4. Mini ITX motherboards are more expensive than regular ones, but still, this very basic LGA 1700 motherboard includes some cooling on the VRM, and the processor I'm using is well within its limits, so the VRM should be more than sufficient. CPU Intel Core i5-12400F. This 6-core, 12 threads processor is a great budget option. CPU cooler Arctic Freezer Fury 6. Here where it gets interesting. The Arctic Freezer Fury 6 has a unique mounting system for LGA 1700. I need to remove the stock socket bracket and use a special plate to secure the CPU in the socket before attaching the heatsink. Fans are attached with clips. RAM Kingston Fury Beast. My favorite memory choice. It's a 32GB 3200 MHz CL16. Storage Kingston NV3 SSD. In my previous build, I used a Kingston NV1 and I found it to be a good budget SSD. The NV3 follows its steps. GPU RTX 3060 12GB from EVGA. Since I'm building this PC for my college mate, we decided to save money and buy a used RTX 3060. I cleaned it, replaced the thermal paste and tested it. It's working perfectly. If you watched my previous benchmarks and tests, you might recognize this GPU. Case fan Be Quiet Pure Wings Free 120mm. This will be intake fan, improving airflow and lowering components temperatures. Power supply is Be Quiet SFX Power 450 watts. SFX power supplies are more expensive than a standard ATX ones, but this 450 watts unit is enough for this build. I even have a power consumption meter, and lately in the video I will show how much power this PC actually drains, to prove that 450 watts is sufficient with some headroom. I think the final build looks minimalistic and stylish. It should fit in any setup. There was one issue with PSU installation. Normally the PSU should be placed with the fan facing outwards. But in this case the cable extender didn't fit properly, so I had to install it with the fan facing inside the case. This means the PSU will pull in some warm air, but the case intake fan should help with the cooling. Building this PC was an interesting challenge, especially the cable management. I kept it simple by tying all necessary cables, since the case doesn't have dedicated cable chambers. Let's move on to tests. Synthetic benchmarks. After 6.5 minutes of FurMark and CPU-Z stress tests, we see that results. CPU temperature 15 Celsius and GPU temperature 73 Celsius. What about power consumption? At idle it's 50 watts, at full load of CPU and GPU it's a 64% of total PSU power. Gaming performance. Cyberpunk 2077, 1080p maximum settings, DLSS quality. FPS is mostly above 60, but in CPU intensive areas it drops to 50. There is CPU bottleneck, but the game is fully playable and smooth. With native DLAA, FPS stays above 50. Forza Horizon 5 1080p Extreme Settings TAA. FPS range between 70 and 80, delivering ideal gameplay. Once again, I'm going to say that Forza Horizon 5 is really well optimized game. Horizon Forbidden West 1080p very high settings DLSS quality. FPS ranges from 60 to 70. The CPU is under heavy load, but it doesn't bottleneck, because the GPU is barely maxed out. With native DLAA, FPS stays around 50-60. Black Myth Wukong 1080p high settings DLSS quality. FPS is about 70-80 with smooth frame time. With native DLAA, FPS is around 50. What about Cybersports? Counter-Strike 2 1080p high settings 4x MSAA. 200 FPS on average, with some drops in heavy scenes. CS2 is not ideal optimized, so FPS not very stable. But still, it's smooth and fully playable. Final thoughts. Overall, this PC turned out great, and I really enjoyed building it. My college mate is already using it and happy with the performance. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. See you next time!